Dun, dun, dun. What up, BC?
Are you creepy?
Yeah.
We think you are. That's why we called this podcast BC is Creepy. That's Topher Graham.
That's Ariel Hansen. And it's your episode today.
It is. And that means that I will be the one editing it. And, well, let's just say I'm not trusting your editing anymore because I posted last week's episode without, checking over it. And you left in stuff you said you were going to edit out.
Really? I went over it.
Yeah, no, you left it, there's literally us saying we can edit this part out in it. Now I'm going to have to go over every time you edit.
Yeah, I totally...
Have you listened to it yet, man? Because it's in there.
No, I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah.
But,
were you, just trying to get back at me?
No, of course not. I edited it, and I remember that part. I completely, wiped it out, because it was the same kind of thing.
Well, then what the fuck's happening?
I don't know.
Whatever. Hopefully this one will be fine.
Maybe I sent the wrong file back.
Maybe. I mean, the rest of it sounded fine, though. So.
No, or...
No, there weren't any awkward pauses or or anything like that. No.
Yeah, I edited all those out. It's annoying as shit.
Yeah. Anyways, so it's my topic today.
Yeah.
And things are about to get weird.
Weird?
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Topics just... There wasn't a ton of information out there. There's a bunch of websites, but they all kind of just say the same thing. Or they sound insane. So...
That's fun.
Yeah, so today we are going to be talking about ley lines.
I've heard kind of ley lines. I don't have a, great idea, but it's
Yeah, so I'm going to sort of break down a bit of what they sort of are, kind of, but...
You
I'll
don't
just
sound
get into
sure.
It. Yeah, no, this wasn't the easiest of topics.
Yeah.
Because so many of the websites were so badly made.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're not talking the Vancouver Sun or the Globe and Mail for sources today. We're talking Angel Fire websites, boy.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I had an Angel Fire website. It was a Digimon fan page.
Oh, that's okay. 'Cause Digimon were cool.
I had a little animated dog that I totally copied and pasted into the website.
I didn't have Angel Fire. It wasn't a thing anymore when I was of age. So I had Pixo.
I remember... No, I don't remember Pixo. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
We had GeoCities.
Didn't have that either.
Oh, man, I'm old.
You are? You're going to be 30 this year.
Yeah, it's gross. So, Ley Lines. Angel Fire website.
Yeah. Well, not just Angel Fire websites. I mean, I did get slightly better stuff, but that's sort of the ballpark of what we're getting at. Blog spots, too. Basically, things you don't need to pay to make.
Yeah, but it's an important message and it needs to get out there.
Mm-hmm. So, started off, back in the 1800s on the British Isles, there were these things that some people believed in called fairy paths, which were all these trails that connected a bunch of different hills in the countryside around there. And so it was considered to be unwise, if not dangerous, to, on certain days, go on those paths for fear that you might encounter a procession of fairies who, while they just wouldn't really take kindly to you interrupting them.
But fairies are so cute. They've got wings and they're small. And...
You do not know your fairy lore.
I guess not.
Oh, they're mischievous is the nice way to put it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Brats.
You said it, not me. But yeah, so that's sort of way back looking. That's kind of an idea that people had that is connected to these ideas. So the term ley line was first introduced by this dude named Alfred Watkins, who was a British businessman and landscape photographer. This was back in the 1920s. So after he'd visited Blackwarden in Herefordshire and he went riding on a horse. He was going around a bunch of hills and everything. And he noticed that there were all of these, like, walking paths that seemed to connect all the hills to each other in, like, straight lines. So then he was looking at a map after that, and he noticed that, like, a lot of different landmarks lined up with each other in straight lines.
Okay. But first of all...
Okay,
Yeah, I'll wait.
Wait a bit, because we're not even into the metaphysical part yet.
Okay.
Yeah. This guy's actually somewhat reasonable. So he, like, came up with this theory that these straight lines that went between landmarks that were both man-made ones, think the pyramids, Stonehenge, Great Wall of China, as well as natural ones, like Ayers Rock in Australia, or smaller scale ones, like things that you can use as a landmark when you're traveling.
Yeah.
He thought that these straight lines between all of them represented ancient trade routes, because if you're traveling back in the day, easiest way to get from point A to point B, straight line, and you're going to use landmarks to figure out where you're going.
Yeah.
And so he figured then when those paths eventually fell into disuse, then people started associating different superstitions with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Essentially. People walk in a straight line.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So that was, like, where the term came from. But then...
Dun dun.
We get into the 60s.
Dun dun.
And the writer John Mitchell...
Dun dun.
Revived the term ley lines.
Dun dun. Dun.
And he decided to associate it with spiritual and mystical theories about alignments of landforms, and he also drew on the Chinese concept of feng shui in these ideas.
Thanks, Aleister Crowley, too.
This isn't Aleister Crowley.
No, two.
Oh, like he's the second version.
It's a bad joke. Just move forward. Yeah. Okay.
Apparently this guy's also, like, written about aliens and stuff before, too, so that kind of person.
Are we still talking, like, 1960s?
60s.
Timothy Leary.
Like 69-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then a bunch of people in the 70s, like, picked up on what he wrote and, like, put their own spin on it and stuff. So this idea that there's this whole hidden network that connects different parts of the earth with these energy lines, it really, got the new age people being like, yeah, man, I'm down with that. And so one group that became particularly interested in ley lines were dowsers. So you know what dowsing rods are?
That's you hold the two metal sticks and they kind of point in a different way.
Yeah, or like they cross and stuff like that. Or you have one that's basically like a giant wishbone.
Yeah.
And usually they're trying to find water, and when you actually test it, they're not that great at it.
Probably not.
No. So these people became real keen on trying to find ley lines using their dowsing techniques.
Did they find them?
Well, we don't know because they're invisible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's also many people who believe that ley lines represent something even more mystical, So they are a grid of energy paths from the earth that are straight lines of spiritual or magnetic energy, and they cross the whole planet. And these landmarks are manifestations, power of these places. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about today. So, some people also believe that they have to do with ancient astronomical alignments.
Those change.
Yeah.
Like, really quickly.
Yeah. So then, of course, the more popular the idea got, the more it started to be added into all sorts of different paranormal subjects, like UFOs, Atlantis, crop circles, and numerology.
Numerology.
Yeah, that's where, like, you take the letters in someone's name and they all represent different numbers, and then you add up the numbers, and then the number you get means something.
How can that possibly link with ley lines as, like, a geographical...
Okay, so that kind of gets into one of the websites that I looked at and did not use any information from because they sounded insane. So it gets into, like, oh, well, this ley line from this point to this point is this distance, and that number represents this, and...
Oh my god.
And Illuminati.
What?
Yeah, one of the websites I looked at started saying that Victoria is full of Illuminati and that there are sacrifices happening under... They said the parliament buildings. It's the legislature. BC has a legislature, not a provincial parliament. So,
That's what the Illuminati would say.
Well, now I'm just going to have to kill you. You figured out my secret.
That you can edit it out of the podcast. But the secret will get out, I swear it.
But would get suspicious if you just showed up dead.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to go full MK Ultra on you. Give you a bunch of LSD, brainwash you.
I'm down. Let's do it. Feed me up full of the LSD. Let's see some ley lines in Victoria.
Yeah, because apparently in Victoria, the Illuminati want to trap spirits there to use in their strange rituals.
Victoria doesn't even have that much influence on the world. If they just went on a ferry and did their weird dark Satan rituals in Vancouver.
Yeah, but Victoria has the BC legislature.
We got a city hall.
Yeah, but the legislature makes decisions for the whole province. City Hall only controls Vancouver.
Yeah, but...
Well,
okay.
My sources within the Illuminati that I am clearly a part of say, don't worry, we're there too.
Yeah, sweet.
Okay, so you won't find any scientific discussion about ley lines in geography or geology or any hard science groups because there's nothing measurable about them.
No, just they're kind of straight, maybe.
But you can't see them. You can't detect them with anything.
Oh.
So people just say that they're there.
So this is surpassed from the walking trails of the...
Oh, yes, because, we're talking there's a line that goes from the Great Wall of China to the Grand Canyon to whatever.
Cool.
So another thing that makes this seem a little fishy is that people who call themselves ley line experts, none of them can actually agree on which sacred sites should be included as data points. Nice. So most of them will pick some of the internationally known ancient sites, like the ones I've mentioned.
Yeah, Great Wall of China, Grand Canyon, Pyramids of Giza.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. Stonehenge,
Yeah.
But then you get down to the regional scale and also the local level where anyone can really say that their thing is a point for ley lines to hit. Because, how big a hill counts as an important hill? And how do you decide what things that are man-made are old enough and important enough?
I'm going to go with the chief.
Well, apparently that has all sorts of paranormal activity anyways, so that's kind of an obvious one.
Yeah, total ley line spot.
You would think.
I would think.
But anyways, so all these experts can be super selective about which data points they choose, and they can come up with any pattern that they really want.
Kind of like the number 23.
Oh my gosh, yes. So actually, one of the websites that I was looking at, the one that talks about the distances between things and the Masonic Hall to this statue in downtown Vancouver is this many feet, and the Masonic Hall to this thing in North Van is this many nautical miles, and and that number represents pi, and 333, that's an important number, and it's you're not even using a consistent set of measurements, and I've actually lost my point that I was trying to make.
I was talking about the number 23.
Yes! So I sent that website to Colin today for a bit of a laugh, and I sent it to him being they totally go full the number 23 on this one. Because it's just all these measurements and stuff, and it's you gotta keep it consistent in your unit of measure, otherwise no one will take you seriously.
Well, it's a trick of the human brain. If you're looking for patterns,
apophenia,
you're gonna find patterns.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we're built to do just by evolution.
Yeah, see faces and things. So, basically people can make up whatever they want the ley lines to look like and be It's justified. There's like literally tens of thousands of potential data points all over the world. So that's kind of why these ley lines are found everywhere. Some of the possible points that people include are castles or places with the word castle in the name. Churches, moats, ancient mounds, ancient stones, wells, crossroads, special groups of trees. How you determine that, I don't know.
And it's just that they're connected by energy, or they're on this
there's a line connecting them because
invisible river of energy.
Yeah, and so there's like so many potential points that it's obviously statistically probable that they're gonna line up and form straight lines. But also, when you think about it, you put 2 points on a map, you can draw a straight line.
Yeah.
Doesn't take that much work. So straight lines they mean nothing.
Our world is just a giant map with God drawing lines through each of our things and making us do stuff on those lines.
Well, it's like, okay, an example of like how another place pointed out, like they make all these triangles. And it's like, if you have 3 points, you can make a triangle no matter what.
Yeah.
So look at my arm. Oh, there's 1 mole, 2 mole, 3 moles. They make a triangle.
It's a ley line.
Oh, and then there's these other 3 that make a triangle. And then there's these other 3 that make a triangle. And this other 3, etc., etc.
Wait, what's up with this?
Oh.
That's
a little
really gross.
Weird. I don't know.
That looks kind of self-inflicted.
No, I wouldn't do that to myself. It doesn't really hurt.
Was it the cat?
No, he's been leaving me alone.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
concerning.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. Kinda, maybe it's a rash?
Doesn't look... Were you scratching at it?
Maybe, because I mean, like, when I'm sleeping, if it's a rash, I could be scratching at it.
It's violent. I don't know, you should wrap it up or...
I'll throw some polysporin on it. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
So the people who usually believe in ley lines also tend to believe that all of those places that the ley lines are connecting are built on vortex spots.
I like it.
that are these points of power. And how they relate that to people is that these points of power are the chakras of Mother Earth. So the ley lines connect the chakras of the earth, and there's different size chakras, so there's major and minor ones. And
oh no. Vortexes and invisible lines and...
Or vortices. I saw someone saying it as plural in written form.
That can't be grammatically correct.
I don't even know. Honestly, I'm not that worried about it either.
No, I suppose not.
So then another little fact that I found was that 2 German Nazi researchers during World War II, named Wilhelm Teut and Josef Heinsch, claimed that the ancient Teutonic peoples contributed to the construction of a network of astronomical lines called holy lines, and they could be mapped onto the geographical layout of all these different ancient and sacred sites.
Sounds like ley lines.
Yep, because those Nazis were crazy and decided that they wanted to incorporate a bunch of the occult into their political party.
We know that. They had like the...
Well, they believed in like all sorts of weird stuff, Madame Blavatsky stuff. Yeah, and now we get to the BC connection part of it, and why I can talk about it on BC is creepy.
Been waiting, but I didn't want to be rude.
I just wanted to get all that information out first.
All those facts.
You don't see it, but he's doing air quotes.
Yeah.
I just need more beer right now to get through this.
Okay. BC connection.
Yeah, and the 2 craziest websites that I found were the ones that were trying to be BC connections, too. Yeah. Those 2 I didn't really use, but there was a couple other sites that had a bit of information. So, we know that Victoria has a reputation of being super haunted.
This is the most haunted place in Canada.
Yeah, and it's also apparently a very significant spiritual place. And the theory that a lot of people have as to why that is because it is a place where two ley lines intersect in the city. In fact, it's like apparently on a golf course. So there's one that runs east to west and one running north to south that intersect in Victoria, allegedly. And so there's people who think that these two ley lines are what causes Victoria to be so haunted, because the ley lines emit powerful magnetic energy which attracts and magnifies spirits.
I need to ask, what sites are these ley lines that intersect? What are they connected to?
Nothing said! Nothing said. So who knows?
We just need to look at Victoria on a map and be like, oh,
Draw some lines.
maybe it goes to like Stonehenge and
I don't even know.
who knows?
Yeah. And then here's just a couple quick hits of other ley lines in BC, allegedly. Apparently Lake Okanagan is a power point.
They make really good cider.
If you like the ciders that are more like coolers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not craft cider, let's just say.
Ciders. Cherries. Okanagan's dope.
They're known for their wines.
I don't think I've had any of that.
Really? You don't get BC VQA wine when you buy wine?
I just kind of look for the cheapest one.
Oh, yeah. A lot of cheap wines I just don't want to drink. But anyways, so Lake Okanagan, a serpent-shaped lake.
Ogopogo.
Yeah. That is 1,000 feet deep and 90 miles long. I didn't fact check these, I'm just trusting the website. It's one of the deepest lakes in North America by an extinct volcano in Penticton, and also home of the survivors of ancient Lemuria.
I have my doubts.
I don't even know what, or Lemuria? I don't know what that is. It just makes me think of lemurs, and lemurs aren't people. So.
Lemurians are going to be very upset with you.
Or Lemurians. Lemurians? People from ancient Lemuria? I don't know. I don't know what it is. They didn't give more information on that, and I just didn't have time to look it up. So, it's also where this alleged power spot is the home of Okanagan's largest summer solstice. That's at Penticton by the lake every June. And then some even quicker hits for more possible energetic power spots that ley lines emanate from.
Vortexes.
Yeah. Karameus Mound in southeast BC. Cormorant Island, which is where Alert Bay is. And that is off the northeast coast of Vancouver Island. I've been there.
Oh, cool.
It's a mostly First Nations community. They actually have the museum to, like, I guess, commemorate residential school survivors, or it's like basically educating people about residential schools, and there's a closed down residential school right beside it. And but then they also have a bunch of ceremonial masks, so it's like also about preserving First Nations culture. And everyone should probably go see that at some point in their life if they live in BC.
It is something that you should learn about.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah.
But important to know, because you can't help heal and move past something if you don't know about it.
You know your history.
Yep.
Can't just go on saying that Canada had a pretty tame history.
No.
No.
We did bad stuff. So also Williams Lake, which apparently another name for it is Kolomnitsa Lake. I might not be saying that right. It's in like central BC. Mm-hmm. And then Petroglyph Park on the west coast of Vancouver Island. Those are all alleged power points.
Shouldn't they have some like really cool ancient site things?
Well, remember it can also be natural spots. Although why the chief isn't listed on that, I don't know.
It's literally a mountain that looks like a dude.
And then it also gets like UAP sightings.
Yeah.
And doesn't it also get Sasquatch sightings?
Oh, Squamish? 100%.
Yeah. So why aren't talking about that? Who knows? I'm surprised that there's not someone...
I'd like to go on record by saying that there is a ley line through Squamish.
I mean, I'm surprised there isn't someone being like, what ley lines actually are the travel paths of the Sasquatch.
I'd like to go on record as saying that ley lines are the travel path of the Sasquatch. And he definitely goes up the chief.
Yeah. So I have sources for this.
Do you?
Yeah. spiralbackwards.com, and I think that's actually like the website for a web series.
Yeah.
But they had a very, very brief article about ley lines with external links, some of which were the craziest links that I read, and there was this one that was, I'm just not going to get into it. It was someone who I would not want to practice their profession on me.
Oh no.
I'll tell you after. And then another one is livescience.com. That was actually like the one that gave me all the information about how it's not scientific and like all the skeptical stuff.
That's pretty biased.
That's the only one of the websites. Only skeptical one in this list of sources, Topher.
That should tell you something about how true ley lines are.
Or how people don't take them seriously.
Yeah.
Another one was okinhealth.com. Then there's aboutsidhars.angelfire.com.
Yeah.
And Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Wikipedia is probably one of the most trustworthy sources of all the ones I had this week.
I like the Angel Fire one. Is he still updating it? Does he
I don't
have his
know.
login?
I don't know.
Does he use HTML? What is his deal?
You can go on the website and find out.
I just might.
Yeah. So that is what I could find out about ley lines.
Nice.
I'm really sorry if you do believe in these and we've kind of not taken it seriously. It's just, I am someone who needs like hard scientific evidence, and there just wasn't really any out there. So
send us your evidence. badcookiepictures@gmail.com.
Also, a lot of the people making websites about it, yeah, they don't give whatever evidence they might have in persuasive ways.
Yeah, make a persuasive argument and we will record a rebuttal.
Or we'll just read it and who knows what'll happen.
Yeah.
But an update on a couple things from previous episodes.
Oh no, what did I do?
This has nothing to do with you.
Okay.
Yeah. No, within the past few weeks they found another foot on our coast.
Ah!
I think it was in Washington State, but that's still the same waterway.
It's our coast.
Yep. So the feet saga continues.
Dun dun dun.
And then, so this is just a really weird coincidence. Remember how I did the Beast of BC episode like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Well, Dark Poutine just... their most recent episode is part 1 of their Beast of BC episodes.
Hey, you guys. We're gonna find...
No! Don't say it as a threat!
We're gonna buy you a beer.
There we go.
And we're gonna talk about...
creepy stuff in BC.
Yeah.
You guys also talk about the rest of Canada.
Yeah.
We really limited ourselves.
Yeah. And we're really finding the edges of that.
I mean, to be fair, there's stuff that we've saved because we want to do special episodes. But
we still got stuff in our back
we're not ending anytime soon.
No.
But yeah, so that's just, I found that really funny that like that got released. I am so glad that ours came out first.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we don't look like we're copying them.
They're more popular than us.
Oh, so much more popular.
Yeah.
Anywho, we've still got that festival coming up at the end of the month in Germany.
Final Girls.
Berlin.
And we actually got some really cool news today.
You can talk about this.
Yeah. So an old fake trailer that we kind of took over when Bad Cookie was incorporated. Punks versus Lizards from like 5 years ago. It's going to be playing at the Pyatt Hall tomorrow, essentially. This comes out on Friday.
This comes out on Friday.
So on Saturday, we're playing Punks vs. Lizards as part of the Best of East Van showcase for the Vancouver Symphony Orchestra. It's a 100th year anniversary. So, really interesting place for us to play.
Yeah. What are you gonna wear?
It's a surprise.
Okay.
I don't know. But whatever it is, it'll be a surprise.
Just make sure it's something that they'll let you in the building wearing.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. So, if you want to support this podcast and other things we do as Bad Cookie Pictures, we have our Patreon that you could become a member of.
For like really low, like $1 a month.
Yeah, that's all we ask. All we ask. And you get shout outs and other cool stuff. As well, if you want to support the podcast, but you are broke AF, then whatever you're listening to this on, be sure to rate it
like
positively.
Yeah.
and give a positive review. If you don't like it, why are you still listening?
Yeah, that was like a half hour of your time, dude.
Yeah. So if you don't like this, just turn it off and ignore us.
Or write us a persuasive argument about why you really like ley lines and they're totally true as fuck.
That's the other option.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in seeing pictures we post or any social media stuff, you can look up Bad Cookie Pictures on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter.
We have our own website too. It's really well organized.
Yeah. We're also on YouTube.
And Vimeo.
Yeah.
Our YouTube is really cool right now, actually.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff on there. And we've got at least one thing planned for Women in Horror Month. That's coming up next month.
Oh yeah, it is coming up.
Yeah, so yeah, our YouTube channel is definitely a place to check.
Keep your eyes on us.
Exactly. Now you can also find my personal stuff, which is more so my actor stuff, at Hanson's Horror on any form of social media.
And you can find me on Instagram at Sneezing Wolf.
Yeah. So with that being said,
stay creepy.
Brrr.